Hello everybody. Before we kick this video off, I just want to apologize for background noise. We have a vacuum going, and it is storming outside, so there's a lot of thunder and lightning and stuff. So, yeah, let's just apologize for that, because it's going to be bad, but I have free time right now, so I'm doing this video. Now, some of you guys might recognize this. And a big shout out to Mindbender. I will put his link in the description. His squires, he made 2 of them. Well, I decided to build that and then do what I call, or what I think are some improvements to it. And actually, by the time I got done, the only thing that I hadn't changed is his robot mode head and this section right here, the ball joint, the shoulder, and then how it connects. Everything else, I have done something to it. And I really just wanted to add articulation to it. And I think it was a good design, so I did that. Now, I did look up a picture of a Wolverine, and they do have tails. They're very bushy tails. I cannot make bushy tails. But I did add a tail onto this guy. But with that, and I think it has a little longer neck than his design, I think it looks more like a panther. And I kind of wanted just to make the evil version of the squires, kind of like he did with his gun transformers. I think like Bead was one of them. So yeah, big shout out to Mindbender. This is partially his design, partially I made it my own, and like I said, the only thing that's the same is a very similar transformation, but this one's a little more in-depth, and the upper shoulders and the robot mode head. So yeah, he did help. This is inspired greatly by him, but it is no longer exactly the same as him. I do have rods in there, but I have a different method of connecting them. And they are white, and I wish they weren't, but in the right size, I use smaller rods than he did. In the right size to make this work, I only have them in white. So we're just gonna have to deal with that. But let's go into articulation, and then we'll do size comparisons, and then we'll get into transformation. So his articulation is his head can rotate and go up and down. Now I don't believe that Mindbender's one's head could rotate, but you know, that's kind of cool. His nose can also rotate if you want it to, but I don't think I would ever use that. It's not that you can't go side to side, just with how the hinge works, but you know, some stuff you have to live with. He's got ball jointed shoulders. Same articulation pretty much for this arm. His tail can go up and down. He does have an body movement there, which looks quite nice. And then his feet, actually on my design, can go rotate, 360, in and out, bend at the knee. So he's decently articulated. I went with obviously a very just gray and black color scheme, but that's because, like I said before, I want this to be the Decepticon version of the other one, with obviously improvements. I will not be doing instructions because this is greatly based off of Mindbenders, and though I asked for permission to do instructions, and I kind of told him that that I wouldn't do it if he didn't respond by this deadline for this video, and he never responded, which is cool, but because of that I just can't give you guys instructions unless he says that I can. Well, I still have it built. But I was able to build Mindbenders just off of looking at the video, and you guys probably can with this. It's not very complex. You could probably figure out what I did. I will give you a hint though. These pieces is just a rod. Oh, you can kind of see his red eye back there maybe. It's just a rod with a lamp holder connected to a tile. So that's how you get this hinge system instead of using the clips. At least that's what I did. So I'll give you guys that, so that way you can probably figure out how to build him than just looking at it. I know the black doesn't show up the best, but what you gonna do? Yeah, it's quite nice looking. But let's get into size comparisons now. So I have a minifigure because everybody who works with Legos knows what the size of a minifigure is, and he's not, he's quite big. Obviously not size accurate, but I am okay with that. And then we have a dice, because, well, everybody knows how a dice looks, and the dice is about as big as his head, maybe a little bit smaller. So, with that out of the way, let's get into transformation. Sorry about that, it's the vacuum. It gets stuck and does that. But to transform him, what you're first going to want to do is bring his arms up and his legs up. I feel like that just gets it out of the way and makes it a lot easier. And then you're going to want to rotate his head. It doesn't really matter which way, you just want to rotate it sideways. And then you want to make sure his robot head is all the way up against this part of his body. Otherwise there will not be enough clearance to rotate that down. And then you want to rotate this down, and you'll see it kind of, the reason you rotated this sideways was so it could clear this corner. So now it's there, and it will fit very nicely back there in that groove. And then what I like to do is I like to take the legs and I like to flip them this way, so they're like that, because it went from going like that with this on the outside and this facing forward to going down and like that with this slope on the inside, and you still have the tiles facing forward, which is quite nice. I like that. Oh, before we had done the other stuff, we probably should have tucked this tail. It literally just comes around, and I guess I forgot to do that. You kind of, before you even fold that, you just need to tuck the tail underneath, and then you can bring it through, bring this down, and then you can rotate the head that way, and actually it fills in that gap quite nicely that is back here. So now you have that done. Then all that's left is to bring the head up, and you can kind of position it how you like. And I gave him a red eye because he is a Decepticon. And you bring these down, and I gave him hands. So both modes look quite similar to Mindbenders, but there's just a few differences in each mode. And he looks quite nice. The head maybe is a little obtrusive on the back, but I feel like it tucks away fairly nicely. There's not a lot that can be done about it. It is a simple design, but I also quite like it. Sadly, all his head can do is look up and look, if you get a good grip on it, look down. And like I said, that and the upper shoulders are the same as Mindbenders. And then you have same, articulation in the arms as he did in his front legs, and his wrist can rotate for his hand. The legs have the same articulation, forward, back, in, out, bend at the knee. So yeah, he does have this joint again if you want to use it, which, you might. But then I also decided to give him a weapon. Actually, I can probably stand him up so you don't have to look at him laying down. I've done it before. He's just not balanced the best. A little back heavy. I know Mindbender did it a couple times, but I think I have a little more back heavy in this mold than he does. Whatever. We're just going to leave it. It looks good. You guys get the point. So this, I didn't make this weapon. This just came with a pirate set. But I thought it was quite fitting for the knights, and to have kind of the guy be evil and be more like, not a knight, but just find a weapon like this. I thought it was quite fitting. It looked quite nice. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. And he looks quite good holding it in his hand. It's maybe a little short, but I don't mind it. And I kind of like posing it with it up on his shoulder, and he's kind of pointing. And maybe like, I kind of like that idea, where he's like pointing and running. Let's see if we can get a different angle so you can see that a little bit better. I don't know. Either way, you get the point. This is him. So yeah, great shout out to Mindbender. This is, greatly inspired by him. same transformation as his. Well, not the same, but very similar. With just what I want to call improvements, but some people might not think it. So I'm just going to say I think they're improvements, but they can be just changes because some people might like that better. But yeah, this is what we have. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you really like this video, comment, let me know about it. But liking and subscribing would be greatly appreciated. And also check out Mindbenders' page. He's got a lot more builds than I do, and they're a lot different kind of technique and style than mine. And he's got a lot better setup. You can see it a lot clearer. But either way, that is it for now, guys. I am signing off.